Welcome back everyone to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be covering lists in C# and how they're a bit different from arrays, because that's what we covered in the last video, and what are some of the advantages. Let's do a quick recap here, and we have a this is actually an array. So we have an array that's labeled employees, and the array is holding elements that are of type string, okay? And the length of the array is 2, so it's going to hold 2 elements. So if I wanted to go ahead and assign those elements some values, I would start with a counter of 0 and say, well, we have Tom as an employee and we have Lisa as an employee, okay? And that works very well. Let's output those names really quick and see what we got. Let's say we got a name for each name in employees. Let's do a console.writeLine, and let's do employee actually, because our variable name is employees. So let's just go ahead and say employees. Okay, so employee. So for each employee in the employees array, output it to the console. We did this in the last video, and we see Tom, Lisa, press any key to terminate, or actually press enter to terminate the program, and that's because we did a console.write. So just make sure it's write line, so it writes a new line for each name. We see Tom and Lisa. Very well. What would happen now if I want to add a third employee? Let's say that we hired someone. Can I simply just do the next element value or index and assign it with Bob? Let's press the start button and give it a go. That won't work because, well, that index of 2 is outside of the bounds of the array. So this array only holds 2 elements. That's how we defined it in line 15. We really can't add any more elements unless we assign the values of the first array to a second array. And so this will be employees2 equals new string, and that's with an element count of 3. And then we can go ahead and assign the third individual, which was hired, Bob. But then we would also have to transfer the values from the first array to the second array. So then we would have to say employees 2 with an index of 0 equals employee 0. And so this is a lot of like management that you have to do within code, and it just gets a little old after a while. And it's not really very convenient, right? Let's say that we want to view the names in the new array that were transferred over. And yeah, it works. We have Tom, Lisa, and Bob. But if somebody else gets hired, then we have to go ahead and create another array that's a little bit bigger, or assign more elements to the array, you know, kind of just on the fly, saying, well, I think we're going to hire 5 more people in the next week or so, so I might as well make an array with a bigger amount of elements, but that's just taking up memory. So what can we do for this scenario with lists? Well, let's take a look. Let's go ahead and assign a list. Let's declare a list. All you got to do is write the word list with an uppercase L and open and close carets, which will hold the type of data it'll be holding. In this case, it's a string, because we're going to say it's names equals new list, open and close carets, and then open and close parentheses. That's how you declare a list. And so this list is going to hold strings. In this case, it's labeled names. So let's go ahead. Actually, let's label it employees like the other one. And we will have to edit our code. So it's going to hold employees, okay? How do you add values? Well, it's quite easy. All you do is say employees.add, and then open and close parentheses and the data that you're going to hold as a value. In this case, it's going to be Tom. We hired Tom. We also hired Lisa. Okay. And we also hired Jim. And so let's go ahead and run our code, hit the start button, and we're going to see those 3 names pop up on the console. Tom, Lisa, and Jim. And now we're working with a list. For the end user, nothing really changed, but and you know, we'll keep it a secret. In the code, we're using, instead of an array, a list, because it's a lot easier for us to manage these names. You can also remove names. That's what's cool about it. So all you got to do is just say employees.remove, and we can give it the value that we want to remove. In this case, Jim thought he wanted to start a job with us, but he quit on day 1. So now it's just Tom and Lisa, and that's kind of nice. Now remember, we're only removing the value during runtime. So, you know, technically, if we were to just delete that line that adds the actual name Jim, then that wouldn't even be outputted to the console. Now we have Tom and Lisa. So it's very, very cool. You can actually just keep on adding quote unquote elements to this list, and you don't have to worry about resizing or creating new variables that'll hold these names. And that's the advantage with lists. So let me know what you guys think in this video. This is a nice introduction to lists. You can also declare a list with actual values. So instead of the open and close parentheses, just like we saw with the array, if you know what the values are, you can go ahead and add those with open and close curly braces instead of parentheses. So we're going to say Lisa, and here we're going to go ahead and just simply just add Bart, and let's hit the start button, and we should see Tom, Lisa, and Bart. Very, very nice. Now let's say that you know, we had a ton of employees last year. Let's say we keep on hiring people. We hired Will. Excuse me. We hired Juan, and everybody's happy, but everybody all of a sudden quit on us. We don't pay them enough. How can we clear all of the employees all at once? We don't really want to say employees remove and then run through every single element. Like, we'd have to type out remove Juan and then remove Will. How can we erase all of the names? Well, the cool thing about lists is you can simply say employees.clear and then open and close parentheses. That's actually a method that is available to us. Anytime it's a dot something, it's usually a function or a method, and I'll go over that in some videos that are coming up, and we're going to be writing our own methods and functions. But in this case, it's the clear method that we're using. So it'll go ahead and just wipe out all of these names from the list. Let's run our program. And we actually don't see anything other than press enter to terminate the program. Let's make sure that we actually are, you know, taking into account if we have names in the list or not. So let's use some of the code that we've used in previous videos. If employees.count will give us the count of the list is greater than 0, then we want to run and output every single name with a for each loop. If not, we're going to use an else statement and say there are no employee names. They all quit. Okay, very well. Let's go ahead and run our program one more time. And it says there are no employee names. They all quit. So, very well. This is an introduction to lists in C# and how you can use them. Remember, you can change the data type, so it could be a list of integers as well. And you can do the exact same thing. I'm going to go ahead and assign values. 1 and 2, that's pretty dumb. Let's do 252. Excuse me. It would work the exact same way. Just remember, what we want to do is when we output to the console, we're just going to say toString. And then instead of a string here, it's going to be an employee. Whoops, it's going to be an integer. And yeah, let's just say it's a number for now. Number, and let's just say ages. It's a list of ages. And I'm messing up my entire code, which let me show you something that's going to help us out quite a bit. And this is when you're editing your code. It'll help you quite a bit. So if you actually hover over a variable, you can right click on that, and then you can go ahead and click on rename. And we're going to say ages, and that's it. Everything gets updated, and we don't have the issues that I had. And this one I'm going to say age for every age. I should have updated it the same way, but let's fix that here. And let's run our program. Oh, you know what? I'm clearing the, let's not clear it. Let's run our program here. And you can see 100 and 252. Nobody's 100 years old or 252, but we see those being outputted to the terminal. And that's how you use lists. So let me know what you guys think about the video in the comments, and thanks for watching. If you guys like the video, hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.